We started organizing. We were able to bring more than 250,000 people to march in Washington. And we all had to prepare a speech. I was very young, 23 years old, had all of my hair and a few pounds lighter.
I have the pleasure to present to this.
When A. Philip Randolph said, I now present to you young John Lewis, the national chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
Brother John Lewis.
I looked to my right. I saw hundreds and hundreds of young people who had been involved during the early days. Looked straight ahead. I saw the sea of humanity. Then I looked to the left. I saw young black men and young white men up in the trees, trying to get a better view. And then I said to myself, well, this is it. And I looked straight ahead again. And something said to me, go for it. And I opened my mouth and I started speaking.
We march today for jobs and freedom. But we have nothing to be proud of. But hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here. But they're receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. The time will come when we will not confine our marching to Washington. We will march through the South, through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
Who was John Lewis? And why would I think of him after reading about Jacob wrestling with the angel? John Lewis had many qualities, but the principal one I think of is perseverance. It is ironic that the same week we are participating in Congressman Lewis's homecoming, there is a rocket of the same name heading to Mars. Somehow that seems to fit. John Lewis was an extraordinary person in many ways, but never seemed to lose his touch as a common man. He grew up poor in a very segregated South and worked his way into the civil rights movement as a young man. That was where one first saw his perseverance. He didn't let his poor small-town origins keep him from aspiring to be involved. And when he came to be involved, he did not shirk from the hard work of getting into what he called good trouble. Like Jacob wrestling with the angel, he persisted until he got his blessing. First from Dr. King and other leaders in the civil rights movement, and then later from constituents as a congressman. But John Lewis's real blessing was in the persistence I have to think comes from God. As we've all been told, he started his life preaching to his chickens. I have to say, I've never had much to say to chickens myself. But when I fed my chickens and cleared out the roosts this morning, I thought about what kind of person is so motivated to spread the good word that they will do it to chickens when the two-leggeds are otherwise occupied. I think it is the kind of person who never gives up, who keeps moving, and continues good works throughout his life. No doubt, when John Lewis faced a row of state troopers on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, he had second thoughts. Is this good trouble? He might have asked himself. But that he kept going was not a surprise to those who knew him. Probably not a surprise to his family, who had already watched his efforts with the chickens. And those moments at the bridge became a seminal point of his life. Much like Jacob, who after wrestling with the angel, received not only his blessing, but a new name. Like Jacob, he had striven and prevailed. When John Lewis had the opportunity, he demonstrated the love that he had learned from his efforts not only to understand, but to live out the principles of satyagraha, some translate as holding on to truth, and ahimsa, the principle of nonviolence. I can't think of a better way to describe this than John Lewis's own story of encountering one of the men who beat him on that bridge, much later in his congressional office. There, John Lewis described him forgiving and hugging him. Lewis said, "The burden of hate is too heavy. I am free of that hate." He went lightly into the world and out of this world, showing us all the importance of persistence and perseverance. Like Jacob, he was not the same after wrestling with God. And also like Jacob, he persisted throughout his life in fighting the good fight. The last event he attended was a trip to Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C., where he pointed toward the future and urged us to continue down the path of love and freedom. The question for all of us is, what kind of people will we be? The answer to that will tell us what kind of country we will have. Will we have a country of abundance? Jesus fed 5,000 on leftovers. Will we provide nourishment for all our country's children? Will we provide opportunities for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Will we finally give all a chance to vote? How we answer these questions, or how will we answer these questions posed by the life and example of John Lewis? I pray that we will all keep moving, never give up, and vote.